Hi there, folks. It's Gempalm here from Gempalm Gaming. So far, for what it's worth, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why now's just as good a time as any, maybe even better time to quit WoW and move over to something that really values your time and your money, like Final Fantasy, for example. It's my perspective from playing the game for 16 years, whatever the case, playing Blizzard games long before WoW came out. I'm very emotionally attached to WoW myself, right? So I get it. I get that you want to stay with WoW and you want to stick it out. And every expansion is, oh yeah, but the next expansion will be better. Oh, the subsystems won't be as bad. They'll get the story going again. But it's just an abusive relationship. And then you have the obvious stuff that makes people not want to, give their money to a corporation. The Blitzchung stuff, the Diablo Immortal stuff, when Diablo 4 wasn't even a twinkle in anybody's eye at Blizzard. They wanted to get people right into mobile gaming. They didn't play that very well. Bait and switch for Shadowlands. They positioned it to be like a continuation of Wrath of the Lich King. That didn't really turn out to be the case, right? They used Ice Crown, they used Sylvanas. All those people that came back from Wrath of the Lich King, they're all gone again. It only took them a month or two, maybe three. We all saw the numbers drop. How did the game become less fun, more of a grind, more like work than a game? You get off work, you come home, you play WoW, and you're just doing more work, right? You're keeping up with all the weekly and daily things that you have to do, for what? I find myself running around and doing daily quests and satisfying subsystems, and they require no skill whatsoever. It's not engaging. Your player power used to correlate directly with the level of difficulty that you can complete. That's just not the case anymore. Everybody's wasting time AFKing these mundane tasks and dailies and renown that are required to gatekeep endgame content, when really a lot of these folks every week, instead of that, they really should be learning the dungeons and learning the raids and learning PvP and checking out resources instead. So we got this weird area where people think that they're doing all the right things and they're being really obedient and they're doing what Blizz wants, but they get into a situation where it's go time and they flop. And to muddy the waters even further, should I invite this guy to my group or not? Well, then you're considering, oh, did he buy his achievement? Did he buy his rating? Everything's pay to win now. And, some people you can't blame. If they want a legendary while it's relevant, well, they're going to have to fork out some gold that they might not have. The biggest, most important item that your character is going to hold is related to gold now, and therefore selling WoW tokens. Having said all that, you really can't say it's not more akin to a casual gamer mobile game, pay to win, than it is an actual MMO like we all remember. So what do people do? People either buy tokens with real money and get the things they want out of that, like raid spots, Mythic Plus spots, achievements. So I did a bunch of PvP between 1600 and 1800 for the lulz. There were so many people with 225 legendaries, 210 legendaries, and they're doing PvP trying to push 1800 because they just refuse to buy a WoW token for their legendary. Your options are, well, how do I get this gold? What, like Korthia? So that's your option. Or you can just buy a WoW token and get the things that you need to do well. And you get these whales and these people that can't be bothered to learn how to play the game, and they'll try to justify it. They'll say, well, if you don't buy boosts, what do you care? What do you care if you don't buy boosts? It doesn't affect you, they'll say. They'll say, it doesn't affect you. What do you care? Well, we just wiped because you shouldn't be here. Directly affects me. The truth of it is, if you were playing the game since a time when it was in a much better state, a time before mobile gaming for casual normies was around, then you've seen the decline. You've seen what the developers are done to shift the game to mobile players and push you out. So for folks like me that aren't buyers or sellers, we're left in this really weird spot of like, what even is this game? Well, it's a mobile game, obviously. Alright, so you pay to win. Cool, we all get it. So what about the players that do put the effort into endgame content? Well, I got 10 dungeons here, and that third slot is a chance at an option. Domination sockets spoken for it. You already have your legendary spot spoken for. Anything else that's high item level spoken for. You get RNG. So that's a Blood Death Knight, the third week into 9.1. And I got 3 terrible trinkets. And I put the effort in to get 10 dungeons done. So if you're not about performance, you can always buy things. But if you do put the effort in, you get RNG on top of RNG. That's your reward. So is this an MMO anymore? The other thing is the story's completely butchered at this point, has been for years. It's a good way to push out MMO players for your new audience. The Uther Soul split, devaluing Wrath of the Lich King altogether. The Sylvanas stuff, you can't really follow it. There's nothing to follow. There's no cohesion there. And it's all by design kind of thing. Like, you push out the players that remember how good the lore was, and then you don't have to meet their standards anymore. So where are we now? So developers have released patch notes for 9.1.5. You can unlock all covenants when you reach max renown, which is a mindless grind. So then, congratulations, you now have 4 renowns to grind. They just added another grind so that you can use the abilities, right? And with WoW's dying population, content creators are eating this up. They're treating it like the greatest thing since the Wrathgate. They're treating it like the second coming of Christ, this 9.1.5 patch. They're also changing the AoE cap to do reduced damage on those targets that would have otherwise missed, just putting something back in the game that they arbitrarily took out so that they could have that in their back pockets for moments like this when the population is dying. None of 9.1.5 addresses anything that I mentioned in this video. And the final area is kind of it's an abusive relationship. If you've been in WoW for a long time, you recognize that it's an abusive relationship, right? There's push and pull. You know, they withhold things that they know that you love to keep you like hoping, when really like they could just make it a great experience the whole time. This whole, okay, now that political things have been happening at Blizzard and folks are leaving, not just because of that, but because the game's gone downhill, a big demographic on the content creator side has left the game now. So now they're going to put in all these quality of life changes in 9.1.5. A little unbecoming. Changes that all these content creators said, to make this game fun, you should probably start Shadowlands without these subsystems. Big props to content creators who were able to leave WoW and try different games, and then they look happier and healthier for doing it. They honestly do, no matter how cliched that might sound. And they were strong enough to move on from an abusive relationship. And then you also have the content creators that, you know, they barely even play the game, they just cover the game. They say, if you think the 9.1.5 patch notes were released as a last-ditch effort to retain customers, then you're dumb and uninterested. Quote. Is that somebody I want to watch on YouTube? Probably not. Like, don't tell me my business because I see the forest for the trees. And Blizzard, like, perpetuates this. They just push the toxicity of it all. And you can see it everywhere. You can see it in game. Blizzard is always saying we're constantly watching the forums. There's a certain demographic on the official forums that it's okay to bully, unfortunately, you know, and that's not a game I want to be a part of. So in basically everything I've mentioned, stuff like Final Fantasy is so much healthier. It's so much better of a community. I'm logging in at like 3 in the morning and there's a queue because the game is so lively. Every city that you go to, there's hustle and bustle. Even the small little quest hubs, like they're just bustling with people, and it's all from your server too. You'll have people playing music and performing out here, and you'll recognize them. It really feels like an actual MMO. This community is awesome. They're very welcoming of new players. They're very helpful. There's very minimal trolling compared to WoW, where those qualities are kind of flipped around. This place really reminds me of Warcraft back in 2004, 2005, when people like genuinely just wanted to help each other. There is no official pay to win in this game, like WoW token or whatever. And Square Enix is still like trying to gain our approval and always trying to make things better. They're not fighting with their customers, they're paying customers, and it's cheaper too. So everything that WoW chooses to do poorly and the community chooses to do poorly, Final Fantasy does it well. Pay-to-win mechanics aren't commonplace in this game. I'm sure they happen behind closed doors. Final Fantasy has a far superior story, and you do what you want. Like, if you want to just do high-end content, you just do high-end content. You don't have to spend hours each week grinding mindlessly. If you want to just craft and make gold all week, you can do that. Just tie my player power to the level of difficulty I can defeat when it comes to high-end content. So until Blizzard makes some integrity-based changes at WoW, then I don't see myself going back. Like, it's been a long time running, but I just don't see it. I don't see them pulling away from pay to win. They've done a lot of work to get where they are. I don't see them pulling out of that. Maybe the next expansion. Maybe they will. You know, I guess we'll see. Well, I'll make my own decisions with my own critical thinking because the content creators for WoW can't be trusted. So if any of the things I mentioned are important to you, give Final Fantasy a try or any other slew of MMOs or any adventure action RPG games. WoW hasn't earned our money for a long, long time. I feel kind of foolish for giving them money for so long, but I feel great playing Final Fantasy. I hope this video kind of expressed some of the things that several of us are feeling, but we don't really know how to say it. If you agree, go ahead and share it with folks. And thanks for watching. Take care.
You guys take care of us, man. You guys really take care of us, man.